Run the North, week 9.
This.
Jason's adjusting his camera here because he must have knocked it sideways after that Chicago Bears Cincinnati game. Sounds like there was a hell of a game going on in Cincinnati, Chicago, whichever spot you guys were playing in. Jason, sounds like you're pretty hot right now. I don't really know what happened in the game other than the very end, which was nuts. Bears pulled out the win, but let's just start going. Just go, Jason.
Oh man,
refs. It sounds like it was a great day to be a fan of the refs.
Woosah, all you Martin Lawrence, Will Smith fans, woosah. It's been a 15-minute break since the game to get rolling. Oh my gosh. So Bears game against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Bears were 4-3 going up against 3-5. Joe Flacco, myth, blah, 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 legend, whatever. Okay, it ended up 47-42. This game should have been 50-22. And that's not even giving the Bears the benefit of the doubt. My rant is this. Holy shit, the refs. And I'm not even going to start by going in individual plays. There was so much life given to the Bengals in repeats. And there were 3 picks that should have been. One was out of bounds. Yeah, okay, fine. So one penalty was bullshit. Second one, they called him down. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But it was a pick 6 that would have clinched away the game at the end. He got touched going to the ground, hadn't completed the process of the catch even yet, got up and then untouched all the rest of the way. But they called him because he was in the process of the catch and he got touched, then he was down. And then none of this extra stuff would have ensued for the last 4 minutes of the game. Stop fucking with the game that I love. And here's the deal. I'm not talking to the refs anymore. I'm skipping my governor. I'm skipping Roger Goodell, the commissioner. I'm going right to fucking President Trump because he's the only one that can get shit done here.
That's true.
Fix the NFL officiating. This game should be won and lost by men, not by guys not playing the game. Like, I understand the Bears suck in a sense that they haven't had any reason to be given the benefit of the doubt in a game in the better part of half a decade. Fine. And with that, I have to bridle my own enthusiasm and my reaction because, yeah, I know the game very well in the sense of what a penalty is or isn't. Or maybe I don't because we've been challenged so many times last few weeks. Is that a catch? Is that even a penalty? What's a roughing anymore? I don't know. Well, I thought we got rid of this process of the catch thing as I'm talking specifically to that pick. I don't know anymore. But I tell you right now, the game should not be decided by the refs. It just can't be. You got to let them play a little bit. I know there's a nuanced give and take. I know there's the comment of there's a penalty on every play. It's just what you're looking for. It's like, it's not that the Bears deserve the benefit of a call. We got one. And that was the difference in the game. Thank God, because we didn't get 5 other ones. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. But it should be to a point when you're playing an equally shitty team and one who is literally known. If Burrow wasn't in the game, this is a shit team.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, we know that. But like, they shoot themselves in the foot just the same amount of ways. So it's like they should at least be calling a fair game. I'm not trying to give credence to those who believe the NFL is scripted, but Joe Flacco's a legend with 6 minutes left to go in this game. Are you fucking kidding me?
Jason, let me pause it. Let me pause it right there.
15 points in 49 game clock seconds.
I think what sucks. To your point, what sucks about the modern NFL right now is it seems like at least half the memorable plays every game, week in and week out, no matter what game you look at, half of the memorable plays are calls from the refs, right? It's not big catches, big turnovers. It's always these referee decisions, and
Amen.
There's always going to be a fan base that's upset on a close call, right? There's always going to be a fan base that's upset with a close call, and I think part of it, and I feel like the refs had quite an impact on the Vikings game as well today. But I think part of the issue is now that we can see 4K, 240 frames per second, it has exaggerated this sense of like the refs can't get it right. It's like you can't have one without the other, where it's like it wasn't as big of a deal. Like when we think back to our childhood, it's like the refs didn't used to blow up the game this much, and it's like they probably did. We just couldn't zoom in to 8x at 4K and slow the game down to 240 frames per second.
What are we talking about here? Like, absolutely, dude. You nailed it.
Not to absolve the refs of anything, but it does suck that's kind of like, I think, just where we're at, and it's such an interesting issue. I think it just all sports in general.
Why can't you get it right? Fine, but why can't you get it right after the fact?
Yeah, it's
turnovers and scoring plays are reviewed, and you're still getting them wrong. This is
And
not
at
a
the same
motion.
time-
If it's not absolutely 100% definitive, the tie goes to the ruling on the field. I don't care what it was. If you can't tell me convincingly, then the tie goes to the ruling on the field. There's nothing to talk about.
And then what's worse is you cut to commercial and it's gambling ad after gambling ad after gambling ad, which just makes it it's like a slap in the face to fans. It's like, okay, you're getting it wrong, and then you're showing all these advertisements for sports betting, which, like, famous history in the US of referees altering the outcome of games because of gambling and sports betting. It's like, come on. You're like, how dumb do you think we are? And this isn't something anyone wants. It's not friendly to the consumer of the product, which is you and me, Jason. We're the consumers, and it's like we're being fucked with. Let's be honest. And I applaud you going straight to President Trump, because he's the one guy that can. He should just pull the plug on sports betting. I think I did not like it when it started. I do not like it now for this very reason, where even if it isn't having an effect on how refs call the game, it makes you think it does. And it just, you can't enjoy the game with like peace of mind of like, well, at least these are impartial judges that are going to try and keep things fair. Instead, it's just all these huge calls going one way or the other. It's yes. I think you mentioned this before. I certainly saw this in the Vikings game, but lots of calls of refs seems like trying to keep teams in the game, where it's like, wow, why are they trying to keep this team in the game? Is it for ratings? Is it for something? Because it sure doesn't seem fair. Even non-calls.
Let me steal that. I gotta steal that, because
Go.
That's exactly what happened in this game specifically. The Bears were up 14-10. There's literally a play where Joe Flacco is here. He clutches the ball, brings it back. Montez Sweat hits the ball down into his hand, and he does one of these, and he gets kind of shot put, and then it's literally coming like spinning this way, not in perfect spiral. It's the opposite of a perfect spiral. It's literally going sideways, oblong. Fumble recovered by the Bears. Bears ball. They just scored a touchdown. They were down 10-3 or 10-7, down by 3. They get the ball at midfield. Oh, we're going to overturn it. The rationale, they overturned it. So that means that there was enough evidence to say this is clearly wrong. It clearly needs to be this other thing. They said the quarterback had control of the ball going forward. False. I challenge anyone listening to watch the replay. The ball was knocked straight down by the defender's hand. His hand had no more control of this ball. It was smushed because the defender's hand was pushing the ball into his hand, pushed his shoulder down, and flicked it like that. You cannot say he had control of the ball at any point the second that the defender's ball hit the hand, and that you can unequivocally see that his hand was not going forward.
Yeah.
That changed the entire game, because then it became 14-13. And then instead of being 21-10 going into the half, we were down 17-14. It's all a game. Okay. I'm going to keep it real simple without too pissed. This is a 500 league. It's a 3-point league. It's a very simple game. It's about first downs, game management, and momentum and scoring points. Like let's not boil it up to anything more complicated than this. However you go about it, fine. I'm a Bears fan. I know with our predisposition this year, I don't get the benefit out on all of these things. Like I'm trying to do my best to remain objective. I've said that already. How going into this game, are you 4-3? Your opponent's 3-4, 3-5, whatever it was. Are you already didn't play one game, so are you an early bye? So you're one game less. How are you already the second most penalized team in the league? And your opponent, coincidentally, is the second least. Now, not the team you're playing, every team total across the whole league. You are the second least penalized team in the league you're going against. Bears do not deserve the benefit of the doubt. But how are they not getting called? Like it's that kind of game. But you look at the teams that they've played. The Vikings, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Commanders, the Saints, the Bengals. Like these teams are not known as well-functioning, disciplined teams.
Whoa, hey, don't lump the Vikings in with the rest of those shitbags, all right? We're
You don't
disciplined.
even know who your quarterback is. Why do you get the benefit of the doubt? Not to mention your entire offensive line has missed a game at least once this year. What are we talking about?
Okay, I want to back up a little bit and
please do, because really back in here.
I think one of the and this is going to go maybe a little deep here, but one of the issues with how the game is called right now, which again a little deeper, maybe a problem with society at large, at least something that frustrates me with society at large, is I think that the way that did you have a little spill there, Jason?
No, it was my mount for my phone and I clicked it.
Anyway, I think a problem with how the game is called, which I also see in society at large, is I think it's overly bureaucratic. In the case of Joe, freaking old man Joe Flacco. I wanted to say Burrow. I knew that wasn't right. Him, and he's just like eking it out. It's like at a certain point, you got to step back and be like, okay, that defensive guy made a play. At a certain point, you just got to look at that and be like, the defensive guy made a 10% play, a play that you're making a small percentage of the time, and Joe Flacco's getting off on a technicality.
470 yards.
Okay.
A career high over a 15-year deal. He was given 4 extra drives.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
At a certain point, you just got to look at it, and it's like, this is a football play. That defender won. Give him the fumble. I mean, it's like, let's not zoom in on pixels, and let's just call it how it is. Which you can't do all the time, but I think a lot of these calls, it's like, you need to take the bureaucracy and the letter of the law out of this and kind of just call it like a fucking man, dude. Just be like, yeah, that defender hit him. He fumbled it. He tried to sneak out, a weak little pass, but like, that's a fumble. We all know that was a fumble. That was going to be a fumble. That's what I think.
I'll argue this the opposite way for a moment. First half, second quarter, halfway through, maybe a little bit more. It's 4th and 6. The Bears missed a field goal, mid to long range, within the 40s, something like that. Clearly a bad miss. Might even got tipped. It felt like it was late in the play. They called an offsides on the Bengals. Looking at the replay, it was clearly, blatantly offsides. That was the correct call. This was the second time all year that we got bailed out. I'm ashamed to say bailed out because it was the correct call. But when you feel like you're getting bailed out because you don't get the correct call, that's a real thing. So it goes from 4th and 6 going in, 30 to 40 yard line, something like 30, 35. Now it's down to 4th and 1. You go for it, you get it. Oh, you got bailed out. But you look at the 4th and 1 that we got so convincingly because we were running the ball like crazy. Manungai had a great day. The nose tackle was not lined up offsides over the ball coming this way. He was lined up past the center's helmet, and they did not call it. Like, what are we looking at? Is like, what counts as a penalty worth calling or not? Because yeah, there's a penalty in every play, but it's like, how many rules did we change in the last 10 years where I don't know what the fuck a catch is? I don't know what offsides is. I don't know what PI is anymore, because what I thought PI is if you fuck with the guy's momentum to get to the ball or not, that's a penalty. If you don't, or if you touch a guy inadvertently and it doesn't impede his motion to the ball, that's not a penalty. If that's changed, someone has to let me know and probably put a bullet in the back of my head, because common sense has left the chat entirely. I'm kind of done there with the rest, because
I was going to say, I'm about to reel you in here, Jason. We're about to spend 15 hours on the refs. Let's tell me about the game. Avoid the bad calls. We've gotten the ref part. Just assume the refs called everything right. Let's not complain about that, but tell me it was such a high scoring game. Kyle Manungai had a ton of yards, no scores. You guys had a nice trick play. How did Caleb look?
So Manungai was a stud, 176. He had a 39-yard run at the end there. He had a couple catches too. He was the definition of running the ball effectively, and by my standards, not that you're getting 176 yards, but every rush. It was weird to see him not get 5 yards on a rush. Mm-hmm. Everything was 5-8 yards on command. He's not a guy to break it, so it was 5-8, 10, 12, 5-8, 10, 12. Like, oh, this is just imposing your will. That was sick. Caleb Williams threw for 280 and 3 touchdowns, no picks. He also received a touchdown on a double reverse in the low red zone, which was cool, like a little Philly, basically. He also had 53 yards rushing. So he accounted personally for 330 some yards. 20 for 34, so that's just over 60-something percent. Statistically, a great game, but I'll tell you right now, it was not a good game by Caleb. There was nothing really succinct. It was kind of odd too, again, not to go to the rest, but there was no way to really gain a rhythm, because even when they had momentum, it was killed on some just not great calls. You look at Colson Loveland, who we've been begging for a breakout game for. He had a couple of good catches, insanely inflated by the last, 60-yard touchdown. But I got out of that play. I was so incensed and reeling, because I texted you about the refs minutes after halftime. So we had the whole second half, and it's just bubbling. But to have Colson Loveland on this moment where the Bears are reputably failed, they've always found a way to implode. Momentum was all Bengals, 110% Bengals, and they didn't do anything to deserve it. It was all, in my opinion, sparked by ref interference. They executed, they scored, got it. But it's like, there's no way, it's artificial, it felt to me. But it's just one of those things that didn't feel like the Bears could overcome. Then you get that 60, 50, whatever it was, 58-yard touchdown to Loveland. It was just double birds, ball don't lie, come at me. Like, because this game should have been 50 to 24.
I walked in the door because I left to run a very quick errand after the Vikings game.
Good for you.
Because I thought the Bears were done. First of all, I thought they were up like 14 when I left. I thought game over. Bears totally won. I walked in the door like the play before that Colson Loveland touchdown. So you might as well thank me for coming through the door and switching up that luck for you guys. But that was
every day. I mean, you and my wife live by the same. You subscribe to the same mindset.
But I will say, a little fantasy football tangent. I can't help but notice all these rookies you have been collecting on your Tycoon League. You must be feeling real good about. I mean, because I know Loveland is a guy. I think you had. I'm pretty sure you have Loveland on your team.
I had him, but I traded him away.
Oh, you got rid of Loveland?
I turned him into Luther Burden and Quinshon Judkins. So I'll take the value.
That's okay.
Like it's nice to have one of the best producing tight ends. But if I can turn that into a more reliable running back wide receiver duo, because it was, if I recall, it was AJ Brown and Loveland and a third for Quinshon Judkins, Devontae Smith, Luther Burden, and a second. Like I in the aggregate, I'm winning that one in my opinion.
Sure.
So that felt good. But yeah, dude, whatever that day is for him, if I'm looking at the stat line,
it was like 150, 170 yards, 2 tutties,
6 catches, 118 and 2 tuds. So that's 17.8 plus 12. That's 29.8 from that. Take that, Tyler Warren.
Yeah, no kidding.
Been waiting. Unfortunately, it came at another Cole Kmet concussion, which should have been targeting a defenseless receiver penalty for 15, but it wasn't. But like, what are we talking about? That's not a ticky-tack. The dude was on a different planet when he got up from that. Because he couldn't, he was like catching a ball awkwardly, came down and just completely smoked, like headless horseman, RIP. You just saw, like you saw the slow motion replay. You're talking about the slow frames. His eyes getting like, you saw him come off the catch. His eyes were like,
oh my God.
He couldn't even calibrate anything. It's like, oh, poor guy.
That's bad. That's real bad.
But how do you not get a call on that? That's more the point I'm trying to make.
Do you think Chicago as a city is just? Do you think Chicago as a city is just so corrupted that they found it's more reliable to bet against, to bet against the Bears or bet for them to fail? And it's like it's just easier to make money that way, and that's why things don't go the Bears' way. Oh man,
I don't know.
This is gonna get you going. I put a quarter in Jason right now. He's about to go.
Trying to reveal myself. So I'm sitting here. I push the couch up close to the TV so my wife can get a foot long or one of the 8-foot tables to do a puzzle. She's doing a puzzle while I'm watching the game, and I'm like, I'm barking at the TV like this is BS. So I'm explaining to her that entire thing. I don't know enough about gambling. I know how I would bet some of these things. Because I don't bet, and it's illegal in our state for now, I don't track the results. But like, this is exactly why I don't put money on games, is because of the refs.
Yeah.
That's 150% it. I can't reason. If the guy's going to fuck up a play, fine. But I can read ball. I can read players. There's momentum in the unseen things. You can look at a team. Oh, they played a tough team. They don't do well against physical teams the next week. They usually lose. Like all the human aspects, I get that in the scheme aspects. Ref takes over a game. I'm just as smart or as stupid as the next guy on those things. So it's like, thank goodness I can't bet, because I'd be out of mortgage.
And you'd be even more pissed off.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So one last question for you on the Bears here. So Joe Flacco at the age of like 63 has his best game ever for nearly 500 passing yards. They hang 40 plus points on you guys. I think you referenced it. Part of it's due to the fact that they had basically 4 extra drives gifted to them by the refs, but that can't be it. What else was going? Was it the quarterback or cornerback depth on the Bears? Are you guys still just really depleted in the defensive backfield? What led to such a performance by this old quarterback who watching some of the highlights and especially that I don't even know if you can call that a Hail Mary at the end of the game. Like, he does not have much of an arm left. So, like, how did he put up damn near 500 passing yards on you guys?
I was tweaking because it's like, oh no, they're on their 40, 15, 20-yard dump off to Chase Brown or whoever it was out of bounds, get them up to their own to our 40. And I'm like, this is the Hail Mary all over again. You gave him 15 yards for no reason. His arm can't make it, and then he gets a chance. And obviously he got hit short. It got picked off, thank goodness. But to your first point, yes, our cornerback depth is struggling. I'm shocked Tyreek Stevens played in that game, but he did not. Or Stevenson, excuse me. He did not play that well. He didn't shut anything down. He wasn't called for penalties, but like T. Higgins and Chase showed. Actually, T. Higgins had the significantly better game statistically. It was at 7 for 121 and 2 touchdowns. Both those touchdowns, I wanted to get mad. There's a third one he dropped because he's trying to track a Willie Mays ball. It went right through his hands, but that's an impossible catch. If he caught that, I'd be like, maybe they do deserve to win this game. But the Bears shut down the run game, and they were pretty much bottom 5 worst in the league on giving up the run. 11 rushes for 37 for Chase Brown. Everybody else was 1 for under 5 yards. Okay. Higgins, 7 catches, 121 and 2 tugs. Chase, 6 for 111, no touchdowns. Chase Brown, 8 for 75. Iosovas, whatever his name is, 80.
Yoshivas.
5 for 66, and a couple guys with a little bit more. Hudson, Noah Fant had an easy touchdown. So I'm having a tough time. I believe it's because we don't have talented defensive backs because of injury.
Mm-hmm.
We are running a couple of stunts up front, but basically instead of running what DA wants to run, which is disguised simulated pressure, like a mugged front with extra DBs and man pressure or man coverage off the top with the pressure, they have to now switch to fire zones. Fire zones means similar stunts, not as many guys on the line, and then you have zone in the backfield. But to a veteran quarterback like Joe Flacco, who's been seeing it for literally 15 years, because I think he turned 40. I think he's 40 and a half years old now. He knows how to pick up out of zone no matter what. And that's why he's effective in this, because it's either Chase Brown, T. Higgins, or the dump off. And that's going to kill any defense when you're not getting pressure. So like our pressure, it has to be simulated. It's not send for natural, easy pressure. You got to play games to get it. So yes, you're right. The lack of secondary help, especially the corners, because like I think Byard had another pick that got called back. Noshawn had a pick out of bounds and the pick to seal it. Tremaine Edmonds had a pick that should have been the pick 6, but he got touched in the process of the catch, which again, I'll never understand how that makes sense. And I even said it too, going into the fourth quarter, he had 300 some yards. Like it doesn't feel like he has that many yards because most of those plays were like check down or underneath things. Not that they were getting broken off plays or like, oh, an 80-yard scamper. It just was like chunk. And if you look at two of the explosive plays, there's anything over 20 yards. Bears were top third. Well, actually, they're top 3 a couple of weeks ago. Top third this week going in. We got out 20-yard played by, I think it was 10-1 this game. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those it didn't feel like the Bengals scored 42 points, even though they definitely did. Their scoring was what? How do I even do the math on this? 10, 10, 7, and 15, but it didn't even feel like it was that imposing. It was just like a reactionary response to what the Bears had done after the Bears shot themselves in the foot or the refs did something different.
Sure.
And the refs did everything to keep them alive. So it wasn't like a dominant, convincing thing. So everybody looking at the 3-6 Bengals record. So this is the second or third game of this type for the Bengals where they scored a lot of points but lost. Yeah. Well, you got to be able to stop somebody.
Yeah, that Bengals defense is just a sorry group. No doubt.
And they were missing Logan Wilson and Hendrickson, so it was going to get even sorrier. But to be honest, I'm not trying to look at the summary score here. I'm not trying to look at the full team stats. Like I'm glad we got away with the win after refs type of thing. And the Bears have a real odd matchup because what is it, next week? 2 weeks from now, we play the Vikings, which is a division game. But next week, I think we have the Giants. We have the Giants at home. Like, we better win that game, just like we better have won this Bengals game.
Giants are dangerous. Yeah, I will say, I think this season, there's more parity in this NFL season than I may have ever seen.
What's driving that, though? Is it the talent? Is it the change of talent on different teams? Or is it the refs keeping this shit in games? Because forget the Bears game this week.
You can't put it on the refs.
Game with the refs too, because I know you had a rant too.
Yes.
Some things to pick apart.
Not so much
rant. With the Bears game. I got nothing else to say about the Bears, and then let's get on the next one because I got to wipe this slate clean, man.
Okay, can you give me at least like 3 words for the Bears?
Ball don't lie.
There it is. Ball don't lie.
The 3 words I want to do will definitely get this episode taken off air, but I'm going to go with ball don't lie again. Why? Because it's real. It's the truth. Ball don't lie. Take that, refs. I mean, really.
Love that.
Anyway, let's talk Vikings Detroit. Huge division game.
Huge.
JJ's back. Let's get into that one because it's at Detroit, dude. We were talking about this game all last couple weeks, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I mean, just a good game. I think just even from a objective bystander, great, just a good football game to watch. Vikings get away with the win there, and JJ McCarthy, I think maybe if you just look at the stat sheet, not too impressive, not a ton of passing yards, but he looked good. He looked like that guy.
Efficient, decisive, maybe.
Decisive. I'll say this. I'll start at the beginning of the story. I didn't catch the first drive of the Lions. We finished up brunch with my wife's family at 12:02, 12:03. The game was just kicking off. I turned to my wife and I said, well, hopefully by the time we get in the car, the Lions only have 7 points. And sure enough, by the time we got to the car, they had only 7 points. But they did do that. They did do that. Well, I said that was my prediction, but
okay. It was the bomb to Laporta.
Yes, yeah. Sam Laporta just bulldozed half our team into the end zone. I was like, okay, might be one of those games, might be a hard one. However, we were talking about the game at brunch, and my sister-in-law was like, "Well, Will, yeah, I'm the Vikings. Well, maybe the biggest Vikings fan in the family, but she's, what do you think the chances are?" I said, "I don't think the chances are great, but I do think they're better than what a lot of people are thinking, and this seems like a classic trap game to me. As a Vikings fan, I've seen the Vikings fall into a lot of trap games, and this seems like it could be a trap game for the Lions." And the women at the table were like, "What does that mean? What's a trap game?" I mean, a trap game is one that you should very easily win. You're projected to win heavily, but maybe there's some undercurrents going on that could make the game a little more interesting. A division rivalry is usually prime grounds for a trap game. A change of position at a roster change at a major position like JJ McCarthy starting for the first time in 6 weeks can be fertile grounds for a trap game. So I called that out. I also said what I think is going to happen is we're going to win this trap game and then ultimately collapse at the end of the season and miss the playoffs. So we're in that purgatory of just good enough to miss the playoffs, but not bad enough to get a team changing player in the draft. Okay, forget that.
I hear you.
We get home. Great game. I was pacing. I was pacing more for this game than any other game this season. I was doing it a lot last season when there was all those 1-score games. This is the first game this season where I was off the couch pacing. So you Jason, I know you'll jabber at the screen you are like a game talker. I don't do that. I'm a pacer. When things get tense, I start pacing around. I'll give it a let's go or I start clapping, but I don't talk too much during the game, but I was doing a lot of pacing. But oh man, so by the time we get home, it's already 7-0 Lions. I get through the door just in time for the Vikings to get their first possession, and Vikings offense is just humming. We got both of our bookend tackles are playing. I think the closest to our healthiest O-line that we've had all season. We had both tackles. We had our first round draft pick left guard in there, right guard Will Fries in there. I don't even know who was playing center. You know what that means, Jason? He was doing a good fucking job. That means he was doing a good job. I don't even know.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it was Blake Brandell. I don't know if it was Michael Juergens. I'm glad I don't know, because that means he wasn't doing a poor job.
Preach.
Vikings go down the field. They get in the red zone. Running game is working. JJ's making some good throws. Like you said, decisive throws. Getting the ball out markedly quicker than he was in week 1 or week 2 when we saw him.
Huge.
He was holding him just a half tick too long in those games. Everything seemed very in rhythm. I think KOC was dialing up plays and routes that JJ liked to throw to. They get into the red zone. I see the lineup, and you got me thinking this, and us playing man together, I'm starting to look at it more tactically. I see JJ bottom of the screen, one man coverage. I'm like, it's going to JJ, fade back in the end zone, and sure enough.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, and also having
JJ
JJ and JJ on the same team is going to make describing things a little bit harder. You're just going to have to use context clues to know which JJ I'm talking about.
Yep.
McCarthy throws just a beautiful ball. Justin Jefferson, one hand, kind of snags it with one hand, brings it in. But I did call that play. Great throw. This theme that I saw from the Vikings game is, okay, McCarthy doesn't necessarily light up the stat sheet. Didn't really have to. He was dealing with a lot of short fields.
Okay, that's good.
Some of the throws he made were such savvy veteran throws. Like, that's what really is getting me fired up. He's not hitting guys wide open. Let's fast forward to the very last play of the game. I'm sure you saw a highlight of it before this, but basically last play of the game, Vikings have the lead. They just need one first down to be able to run the clock out. He throws this back shoulder fade to Jalen Nailor in one-on-one coverage. Jalen Nailor has not had a catch all game. The one ball that JJ threw that got picked was to Nailor. Granted, wasn't a great ball.
Right.
And I'll get into this a little later. I don't think it was an interception. I thought that was a reception. Okay, I can't get into that. Can't get into that yet. We'll get into that.
Yeah, well, but okay, all right, fair enough.
Throws just such a fearless, like, this defender is draped all over Jalen Nailor. And McCarthy throws just the pitch perfect back shoulder throw. Jalen Nailor turns. He almost looks surprised, like, holy shit, this ball's coming to me, and it's in a perfect spot. He turns 180, jump, catch in the air, down, inbounds. Just a dagger. Just a like. And again, he wasn't wide open. Like, he had to get thrown open. And not only did he have to get thrown open, but JJ McCarthy had to put the ball in the perfect spot at, like, the perfect time. It's a throw you don't expect out of a kid that young.
It's so satisfying, isn't it?
It's so satisfying. And you can tell we had Tom Brady casting the game, and you could hear Tom Brady smiling. You could hear him smiling after that throw. He's like, nah, yeah, I think Tom Brady called it a fearless throw, which I could not agree with more. I mean,
from that guy is awesome.
Yeah, you can tell Tom, and even going into that last drive where, you know, there's a minute and a half on the clock. Detroit has all their timeouts. They cut to Tom, and I think Kevin Burkhardt is maybe his casting partner. Yes, and Tom Brady, you can tell he's grinning. He's excited to see, like, is this young quarterback have what it takes? When all you need is one first down, you know the defense isn't going to let you run for it. Is he going to have what it takes? And man, it was just such a satisfying throw. And he had a few of those big, just big weighty throws.
So love that. Oh, that's so satisfying, especially with a young quarterback. Oh,
it was fun. He had a great game. All of his touchdowns were really good. So let's go back to first quarter.
Yep.
Detroit goes up 7-0. Vikings charge back, make it 7-7. Defense, who also had a great game. They come up with their first stop of the day. They kick it back over, and then the Vikings charge down the field. They get back in the red zone. JJ McCarthy, I don't think it's a bootleg left, but I think he's flushed out of the pocket to the right. He's running, and something I'm hoping to see more of, because connection with TJ Hawkinson here. Hawkinson's kind of flowing with him to the right, towards that right corner of the end zone as McCarthy's running to the right. Hawkinson just sits down because he realizes if he just sits down, like, he's going to be wide open. McCarthy sees it, fires it across body, and just hits him right in the numbers. Easy touchdown, wide. Just a nice throw right there. Yeah, and it's just like a great decision. Decisive, like you said. It was a decisive throw right there. That looked good. Offense stalls out a little bit through, like, the end of the second quarter, third quarter. End of the second quarter, we had this drive where it was, like, very much helped by the refs. So at the beginning of the game, I was like, wow, like, the refs are really keeping us in this game, where it's just somewhat ticky-tack penalties. I think that's one where, like, Aiden Hutchinson is rushing off the edge and gets blocked, and his leg, which you tell me, he gets blocked and his leg kind of swings out and sort of karate kicks JJ McCarthy in the shin, and they called it roughing the passer. That seemed pretty ticky-tacky to me. Like, even as a Vikings fan, I was like, I don't think you need to call that one.
It's all up to discretion at that point, because what that is, it's not roughing in the general sense, but the rule is tripping technically would be if it was any other player. But
well, that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying in the
Right.
Cats. It's like if it was lower on the leg, it would have been tripping. But since it was like forcible impact below the knee, it was roughing the passer.
But if on a quarterback, that becomes more egregious, I guess. But it's also, is it intentional or not? Like if I get like as a pass rusher, if I get uprooted and I got to replant and I'm just trying to plant my leg, as opposed to I'm trying to like somehow in any way make contact with him, big difference. If it's a running back or a quarterback, that also becomes a different big difference. So
yeah,
I guess the way to go back to the Rams, the way they're calling shit, it's like protect the franchise and I guess keep the game close. I don't.
Yeah.
Without going down a conspiracy hole rabbit, that's all I got to say on that because I didn't see it. If I saw it, I have a much more invigorated and direct take. But yeah, I hear what you're saying 100%, man.
Yeah. So Vikings going to half, up 3. I think it's 17-14 at half. I don't know if you. Well, I assume you are looking at the stat lines. Defense
Right now, yes.
Absolutely. What sticks out to you when I say Vikings defense? What sticks out to you right now? I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. Look at the Lions offense and tell me what sticks out to you on that Lions offense.
Oh, Lions offense. Well, I thought it was interesting that there was only 2 guys that recorded a rushing stat. So you had Montgomery for 11 attempts, Gibbs for 9.
And how many yards did they
25
have?
to 37 for 284 and 2 touchdowns. I didn't see. I guess it would be the rushing attempts. They had 20 rushing attempts versus your 30
for how many yards?
attempts.
I mean, how many rushing yards did they even have?
Well, that's part of it. Absolutely. So they had between Montgomery and Gibbs, you had 20 rushing attempts, 65 yards and a touchdown to your 30 attempts and also a touchdown, but significantly more yardage. So I would say without looking at quarterback efficiency, that was probably the biggest thing, especially because last week we were talking about Allen hasn't made a big deal. Hargrave's been hurt and not getting the field. Yeah, you've got the double named young guy defensive tackle.
Dude, both my guys on defense. Sidetrack here. Both my young guys, Jalen Redmond, big splash plays. Jalen Redmond gets a sack, few splash plays. Levi Drake Rodriguez gets a blocked field goal in the 4th, dude. Not to mention getting Levi Drake, he might have had a sack. If not, he had some good TFLs.
Some special teams productions that matters in some of these games this year, dude. Between him, Isaiah Rodgers, he had a couple blocks before that. Like, that's exciting to see. Yeah. That's fun football to watch because it's a whole team's football. It's not just one offense, one defense. It's like all 3 phases, man. That's cool.
But I think, yes, the point I was trying to make earlier, though, is like our defense shut down that Lions run attack, which has absolutely killed us in the past. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs has killed us, like, ever since he entered in the league. And Montgomery's
assassin.
Yeah, and, Montgomery is not bad either, and we completely shut it down. Jared Goff, who's usually good at dealing with pressure, looked uncomfortable all day, throwing multiple inaccurate passes at his receiver's feet. Whatever we were doing was obviously affecting Jared Goff in his process, which was a delight to see because what do we call it? MCDC, Motor City Dan Campbell has been KOC's kryptonite. I think this is the first win KOC's had against Dan Campbell, I think, ever. I think Dan Campbell is now like 5-1 or 6-1.
What was dialing up though? What was different? Because we know you like the different ones. You like the mugs.
We got a few sacks on Jared Goff. Where those sacks came from was at least one. I think this happened twice. Was linebackers rushing the middle, and I don't know what you call it, but like they basically switch sides. Once they get to the middle, they kind of
it's a stunt.
They stunt, they loop around,
depending on what it is, but still stunt.
Because I want to say like Eric Wilson had at least 1 sack. He might have had 2 sacks.
Trying to find the defensive stat score because ESPN's only giving me the offensive side. Give me a second.
That's weird. I'll also look here. I should have had it up. I had it up a second ago. But basically it was pressure up the middle from the linebackers. That was the consistent theme when Jared Goff got
because if I remember correctly, was it last year, maybe 2 seasons ago, was it Jared Goff had like a perfect game of like 19 of 19 and we
blitzed him like 80% and we blitzed him 80% of the time. Okay, I pulled this up. Eric Wilson, 2 sacks. So there was 2 sacks, and both of them were him coming up the middle and stunting with
I
Cashman.
told you that was a sick signing. That's 2 weeks in a row. I feel so validated.
Oh yeah,
I love that. Thank you.
Okay, here's a little side note you might not have heard of.
Sure.
Wilson actually took Ivan Pace's starting job. Wilson started.
He dethroned him.
Dethroned him. Yeah. So when Cashman was out on injury, was Pace and Eric Wilson, and then when Cashman came back, it was Ivan Pace that went to the back to the bench, not Eric Wilson. Am I getting that right?
Dude.
Eric Wilson. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing so well. It's hard to not keep him on the field.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing they tell you is like I'd never go down because don't give him a reason. Tom Brady says the same shit. It's like that's how I got my job. I'm never letting anybody else take my job.
Yep. But yeah, Jalen Redmond notching a sack, Levi Drake Rodriguez notching a sack, TFL, and a blocked kick. I mean, really just everything sort of. Well, I shouldn't say everything went in the Vikings' direction. Actually, really, I was gonna say I think the turnover battle was even. But one thing you won't see on the stat sheet though is the Vikings were more physical than the Lions, which is a bit surprising, particularly after how they just got manhandled in Los Angeles last Thursday night. I thought there was a really good quote. I think it was one of the casters were talking about their conversations with Kevin O'Connell before the game. And the quote was basically, Detroit just assumes they're going to be the most physical team as soon as they step off the bus. And I was like, that's a good quote. That's a good quote right there.
Yeah, that's spicy.
But yeah, I think you had a line like this last week when you were describing the Bears games. Well, you could hear those pads clacking in the game when the Vikings defense was on. So great overall game by the Vikings. Defense showed up, offense showed up, did its job. Special teams even. Okay, now my turn to talk about the refs.
Are we talking Will of Throw?
No, we're actually not talking about Will of Throw. We're going to talk about a 90-yard kickoff return in the fourth quarter by the Vikings that got called back by, in my opinion, a very, very weak holding call. I mean, yeah, maybe it's there, but like, are you calling back a 90-yard touchdown because he has a finger?
Say yes
because he's got his fingertip on this guy's pad for a fraction of a second.
Just the tip, though. That's all it takes.
Okay, and so that. Okay, I can kind of see, but again, overly bureaucratic in my opinion of a call.
Yep.
Technically right. There's that. To get the Lions into the game at the end of the game, they're down 10 points at this point in time. There's kind of a go ball to Jameson Williams down the sideline. I called it live. Obvious push off. You see Jameson Williams, he's running. You see the full extension of the arm off the defensive back, and he catches the ball and brings it in. I go, that's a push off. That's a push off. And you know what the most damning part is, Jason?
What?
They're taking a long time to get to this replay, right? They're taking a long time to get to this replay, right? You know when the replay starts? Replay starts here. It starts as soon as he's done with the push off. They replay it a couple times, and they do not include any part of the route he run.
They didn't even show one that was so egregious in the Bears game. The TV copy didn't even give us a replay.
That's how you know. It's like, what the
bullshit? My wife is cussing me out. Why aren't they showing it? I'm like, I agree.
Yeah.
Dude, it's such bullshit.
Yeah, and that was to get them within 3 points with a minute and a half to go. Which led to the Vikings closing the game up. But I was like, Dad, you're trying to keep them in the fucking. It's like you're just trying to keep people glued to the screen. I don't know what the motivation is, but other than they're obviously trying to keep the Lions in this game because that is such a clear push off. Like
my heart can't take this shit anymore. Oh.
So there was that. There was an interception. JJ McCarthy's one interception. Now, granted, he's on the run. He throws the ball to Jalen Naylor earlier in the game. Jalen's running one way, the ball ends up kind of on his back hip. Jalen Naylor gets one hand on the ball, kind of traps the ball against his back hip. He's going to the ground, and the Lions receiver kind of gets two hands on the ball and rips it out as they're going to the ground. Now, I'll say this. The Vikings fan base, you're probably going to see this on Twitter, but we've been getting, and you mentioned this, we've been getting screwed out of, they'll say we've been getting screwed out of a lot of what is a catch calls over the last 3, 4, 5 games.
Well, how does the common fan not know the answer to that? It changes so many times.
I will say, I think for like 75% of those calls that did not go the Vikings' way over the last 5 or so weeks, I agreed with the refs. I think I'm a fairly unbiased fan when it comes to some of these close calls. I agreed with the refs for like 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 of the calls that resulted in a no catch. This was the first one where I was like, I think Jalen Naylor had control of the ball when his knee hit the ground. So the play should end right there, in my opinion. Is
he in contact with the defender?
Yes.
Does he have possession of the ball?
I think he has possession of the ball when his knee hits the ground.
If that's true, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, text me when you see the clip, because I think that's a catch. The instant after, which of course, because he hits the ground. So as soon as he hits the ground, all the leverage and the physics change, and so the defender's able to rip it away. And they call it they huddle, the refs huddle for a while on the field to decide what they're going to call this. And they call it an interception on the field, which I'm just like, oh my, like, I mean, I guess I get it. I think it's easier to overturn an interception into a catch than it is to turn a catch into an interception. I feel like it's
it's possession. And then it's is there enough evidence to say, I definitely see what I'm seeing? Or I definitely see it didn't happen. Otherwise, tie goes to the call on the field.
Yeah, so that was one, but really it's in the fourth quarter where Vikings get a 90-yard kickoff return in the fourth quarter, called back on just the weakest. One of those holds where it's like, yeah, you can find a hold on any play if you want to. One of those holds, and then they let Jameson Williams get away with his push-off. It's a 14-point swing in the fourth quarter.
Why does he need to push off?
Yeah, it was frustrating. It just doesn't seem like a fairly called game, and that was that's my rant about the refs. It's just like, even though the Vikings, I feel like, benefited a bit in the first half, not to the degree to which the Lions benefited in the fourth quarter when the calls matter the most. And here's also how another one of those red flags where, like, if they won't show a certain part of the play where you're like, something happened there. The other red flag I'll notice is when one team is benefiting from really impactful calls, that same team will get penalized on non-impactful plays. I assume that's because, so in the box score, it'll look a little more even. It's like, oh yeah, we called 10 flags on each side for relatively similar amount of yards.
One was for 99 yards and the other one's for 34 yards.
Yeah, and one was for 5 yards when the other team was on like the 10-yard line. It's like, okay, and on first down, no less. So it's like, okay, so one from first down at the 5-yard line to first down on the 2.5-yard line. Right. Great.
I'd love to send a poll out to every team. Like, here's 100 fans from each team. Do you feel like you're getting screwed from the refs? And like have questions specifically to kind of suss this out? A little bit more nuanced. It's not blatantly, are you getting screwed by the refs? But like the momentum, like even more than yardage. Because again, 10 penalties for 100 yards. That's 10 yards of penalty. That's a lot. That's a whole field. Like, imagine what 100 yards would do to Caleb or JJ's stat line throwing.
Right.
You go from fucking generational talent to generational bust just because of 2 different plays. Like, you look at the Commanders game, there was a touchdown and 95 yards wiped off the board off of 2 penalties. Do you think that Caleb is going to get the shit that he's been getting if he has another touchdown and 95 yards, not to mention the whole Troy Aikman debacle? Or is it just a 200-yard, 1 touchdown, 1 pick? Or is it like 300 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick? Like, that's 2 plays. So take that in any context. And I'm kind of stealing the thunder here, but I want to know too, the impact of these defensive plays, the different calls, and then the sack numbers. We were talking about specifically what we saw from your defense. Like, okay, so Goff got sacked 5 times, which is sick. It was 44 yards lost. JJ also got sacked 5 times, but only for 27 yards. So
interesting.
17-yard difference, whatever. What would you say, watching the game, momentum-wise or just schematically, why 5 sacks? Because any team giving up 5 sacks, that was a normal thing for the Bears last year. JJ getting sacked 5 times. Were they timing, play call, rookie, great defensive blitz? Like, what are the things that are impacted that led to 5 sacks of JJ?
I'll say almost all of them, if not all of them. I'm not going to put on JJ. I think at least 2 of them were bull rushes up the middle where JJ was basically dead to rights, right? Like,
so that's center.
Well, one of them was a running back getting absolutely just trucked by Campbell. Jack Campbell just trucked a guy. Sure. I think at least one or two of them was who's that other Michigan guy on the defensive line? For the Lions, their best player on defense.
He just got paid a 4-year, $180 million, so it's $45 a year.
Yeah, Hutchinson got his
$45 million a year, bro.
Yeah, Hutchinson got his at least once, maybe twice. There really weren't any sacks.
You're missing their best D tackle too. Sorry for the distraction.
No, that's good. So I think it was a lot of honestly just individual effort on the Lions' part. Just a lot of defensive players making plays. You really didn't see a lot of JJ holding onto the ball too long. I can't think of what the 5th sack would have been, but I think it was like that's two up the middle where the pass protection got beat. And I want to say
Barnes, Tyler Lacey, number 78. Hutchinson had one, and Akadim Mohammed, number 96. So number 96, number whatever, 97, 78, 55, 46.
Yeah, you'd have to go back and watch the tape, but I will say it wasn't. These sacks weren't due to JJ holding onto the ball too long because he's being indecisive. It is absolutely. Vikings, kind of similar thing. Like a lot of our sacks came from getting guys free up the middle. Goff was just obviously uncomfortable throughout the duration of the game. Honestly, the sacks and pressures from both defenses looked pretty similar with linebackers blitzing up the middle. Yeah, I guess that's all I got to say on that.
And this is what's really interesting. I'm just looking at the not the individual box score, but the overall team stats. Mm-hmm. Y'all had 20 first downs to their 15. Kind of crazy. You had 7 rushing first downs to their 3. You had 5 first downs because of penalties to their 1. They were a little bit more efficient on third down, which I guess probably balances that out a little bit. But, turnovers 1-1, they lost a fumble, you didn't, but you threw a pick. So that and the time of possession, 28, almost 20, let's call it 29-31. So it's a pretty even-keeled game to see that you guys rush for 100 yards more than throw for 100 yards more. It really feels like a balanced game where it's something where you don't usually give the nod or like the vote of confidence to the quote-unquote rookie there. So this, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, because I didn't watch a snap of it. I'm just divulging from our conversation. I was like, this is a character win. This is one that you aren't feeling super sexy off of because the quarterback came out and did his job, but man, you gritted it out. And that's kind of what it feels to me that the Vikings roster this whole season was kind of designed to be. Have the whole roster supported and better to support him and have him grow along the way, but still eke out these wins that maybe it could have been a 37-20 win, but it ended up being closer because you still got a quarterback with an 88 passer rating and throwing for 140 yards. Am I close?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was definitely a character win. I think one of the other things that broke in our direction is Lions had the injury bug bite this week. I haven't brought that up yet. They had, multiple guys going down, staying down, exiting the game, particularly on their offensive line. Penei Sewell even got dinged up. I think he might have had to come out for a play. They had another offensive lineman or two go down and leave the game. So, and that's something I've seen as a Vikings fan all season is like when you start losing offensive linemen, things start falling apart real quick. So that's something that helps. Even Amon-Ra St. Brown got a little dinged up. It looked like his knee he took some hard falls on his knee a couple times. He finished the game. That being said, I'm probably going to pick up Isaac Tesla in fantasy.
That might make just for me look good in fantasy for trading him away a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, just a good character. It definitely. It was such a stark contrast what we saw against the Chargers on Thursday night, where it really seemed like this team show up to play for JJ McCarthy. Really, it's like, okay, this is our guy. We gotta give it our all so that we get that QB a little confidence. And JJ played his part too. I mean, he was calm, composed, collected, killer.
And to the uneducated fan, that seems like such a rah-rah, uneducated, like flighty, light, surface level comment. But the human side of this game, I'm a quarterback, I'm a young guy, but the leadership skills, the confidence, like just to be able to get a guy to do what they want. Like you take it back to like week 1 Bears game. He's not having a good game. We're winning that game the whole way, but you know what? I got this. We're going to run this. You see him on the sideline. Let's go. Like, who's this kid? Okay. All right. Okay. Like that actually means something. And if you're a vet and you see a young kid trying to do that, it's like, all right, I can kind of see through it, but I know he wants it. Let's go. Yeah. And it showed impact here as it did in that game too. So that there's, for a championship, the pedigree, winning at Michigan so many years in a row, and the title and this, but you draft him for that, that counts. It doesn't show up in a stat sheet.
Absolutely.
Fantasy football fans don't get it, but if you've played ball, you know that is absolutely a factor, and that's kind of scary.
Yeah, well, and Tom Brady called out another thing, which is something I talked about in the limited, the limited reps we saw from McCarthy in week 1 and week 2. He called out, he said, JJ McCarthy's looking good after the play starts, but what I really like is what I'm seeing before the play starts. He's got total command. He's canning plays, and when he cans plays, the play they run ends up pretty successful. He's telling guys what they need to do. You saw multiple cases throughout the game where he's canning or he's changing the play, and he's got to walk over to the tight end or the wide receiver and be like, because they're confused, like, what am I doing? And he's like, tells them, hey, yeah, you do this. He's got to tell the running back, hey, here's what your blocking assignment is. He's obviously got command of the offense. Potentially, I mean, we got to see some more reps, but potentially better than anyone that KOC's had. I mean, Kirk probably had it at the end, but KOC really looks like he's just a manifestation of KOC behind center, where he's he looks like the general out there, and he's directing his troops. It's nice to see it. It really inspires some hope, which, us Vikings fans, never hopeful, but except for all the time. He just looked good out there. He looked really, really sharp out there. You see, this is what I was gonna say. You saw, it's like a little cringy, but it's nice when it works out, when you just see him out there meditating on the bench like 2.5 hours before the game. And you can tell he is just visualizing everything. Like, you can tell this kid's he's picturing every play, every situation, because he looks so mature beyond his years, not as so much as a human, but as like a football player, even though I'm sure he's a very mature human too. But it's just like,
he's a dad now.
That's true. That'll make you grow up pretty quickly. He in a lot of aspects, he already looks like a veteran, which is nice to see. He did have, you have to say, he had some inaccurate throws. I think that's something we have seen out of his 3 games in the NFL. He's a little inaccurate at times. I'm not worried about that at all. Josh Allen wasn't like a final product until like his 3rd season in the NFL. He was very inaccurate as well. But I think when you kind of just take the reins off, take the leash off, and just tell JJ to go play ball, like, kid can just play ball. At the end of the day, he knows how to play. It was just a great game for a Vikings fan. Reason to be hopeful. It was a gritty win against a good team. NFC North opponents. NFC North.
Division game.
Division game. Let's talk about the division.
Let's talk about it.
What the hell's gonna happen? Dude, okay. Let me tell you this. I got a text from my Packers fan earlier this week. He says, how are the vibes in Skulltown? What are you doing if the over under on wins for the Vikings through the next 5 weeks is 1.5? What are you taking? I said, I'll take
the next 5 weeks.
For the next 5 weeks, he said, the Packers fan said, what's the over under? 1.5 wins. Or what do you take?
You entitled prick. I got nothing to say to you.
It gets better because he's like, yeah, Bears and Seahawks seem like, that'll get you to 2 wins. And I said, don't forget the Packers, winky face. But
Have you watched the Seahawks game this year?
Yeah, Seahawks are. I'd say both of those teams are better. I truly believe, like, Packers. I've been saying this all year, and it's hard to take credibly since I always hate the Packers because I'm a Vikings fan. But they are not that good. They're not they barely beat bad teams. They couldn't beat a bad team today. They could not get over the hump on a bad team. Like, you look at their schedule, it's soft as shit. And this back half of the season, I want to text him back and say,
puppy shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm like, are you guys gonna get more than 1.5 wins in the next 5 weeks? Because it's only getting harder for y'all.
Dude, they're going to need therapy after this year. What an entitled.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, NFC North, I mean,
so
up for grabs.
What did you end up actually saying to this guy?
I think I just said, don't forget the Packers. And then he sent me a meme, and then I sent him a meme back.
Homie, they just lost to the Panthers.
Yeah. They're not that good. They're not a very. I don't think they're very good
Giants,
team.
Vikings, Detroit, and the Bears. So they played the Eagles and the Giants, and they have 3 consecutive division games, followed by the Broncos, the Bears again, and the Ravens, who are going to be hot, and then the Vikings. They might not win a game the rest of the year.
Dude, that's what I was thinking. I was looking at their schedule, and I was like, I can realistically.
What are you propped up on? What are you smoking?
I can realistically see them.
Send it to me. Send it to me. I want that.
I can realistically see them not winning another game for this season. Do I think it's likely? No, because it's the NFL.
But I'll give them that without Scatterbull.
I don't know.
I don't know what they did this week. I'll give them that. Just like not thinking too hard. I don't want to hurt myself. But like Eagles, Giants. Okay, so Eagles loss, Giants win, Vikings, Lions, Bears, Broncos, best defense in the league, Bears again, Baltimore getting hot and healthy. Finish the season with the Vikings. What the fuck are you talking about, you cheesehead?
Dude, can you imagine the memes if the Packers go 0-3 3 weeks in a row to NFC North teams? The memes are gonna be fantastic. They're gonna be so sweet.
There will be never in my life a swifter justice than that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those weeks. I hope each NFC North team does what it needs to do and just shoves it up that cocky fan base's ass.
You know what? If it takes you guys winning to do it, I'm all about it. I like literally. I'll tell you this: my stance at the top is changing, because it used to be, of all 4, I'll root for the Bears first. I'll root for the Lions second, because I knew it was never going to happen. Then I'll root for the Vikings. Then I'll root for the Packers.
Absolutely.
I will never root for the Packers. They could anybody could play the Packers, and I will root. Detroit can play the Packers. I'm rooting for Detroit. Vikings can play the Packers. I'm rooting for the Vikings. Like balls deep. So I'm like right now, where the tides are turning a little bit, I'm stuck just because the Detroit's getting better. You guys are tied for second in my rootings within the division.
I'm gonna take that as disrespect. You need to knock us down below. You need to be rooting for Detroit more than you're rooting for Minnesota, because that just means you don't respect us enough.
Well, your fans are too pussy, passive aggressive, nice.
Well,
at least Detroit fans, you can be afraid of them. I also got to deal with my mother-in-law, so and my wife.
But yeah, division is looking real interesting after this week. Division's looking. I am very excited for this Vikings Bears game.
Let's talk about it. So next week, week 10, that's going to be Sunday the 9th for anybody not playing on a primetime game. The Bears are hosting the Giants at home. I feel good about it. It's probably going to be a bullshit game where, we lost to the Ravens. We should have beat them. We lost 30-16. We beat the Bengals 47-42. It should have been 50-22, whatever. We got the Giants coming in. And then we have the week 11. So not this coming weekend, but the following, we're going to the Vikings game, baby. And in the meantime, you guys have the momentum built. They won 2 games in 5 days. You guys have the Ravens at home, which is a nice thing, but they got a healthy Lamar. They're starting to figure shit out. So Giants, Ravens, this could be a very interesting matchup, because the Bears could see themselves with a 6th win. They're 5-3, could be 6-3. You guys just got to win here, but I mean, it's a 50-50 toss up looking at that Vikings Ravens game.
We could see.
How do you feel about that one next week? Right?
I feel a lot better after seeing JJ McCarthy. I mean, he's up for it. I think the team's up for it. I don't know how healthy Baltimore is at this point. I've heard they're a lot more healthy than they were a few weeks ago, which is unfortunate.
Well, they have a long week because they just absolutely waxed Miami on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So they get the extra Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They get the extra 3 days. And all the momentum of winning 2 games against Bears and then Miami in a condensed schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Momentum's a hell of a thing. Like I said earlier in the pod, it's about first downs, momentum, and scoring points. That's the whole thing. And they've got momentum on their side and an automatic first down in their quarterback. So how you guys attack Lamar is a complete night and day 180 to how you attack Jared Goff. So you guys definitely have the edge and the linebacker ability to contain him. It's just how you guys, if you're going to, because again, an exotic stunt gone wrong is a 40-yard run if it's
That's true.
But if you do a controlled contain, you have the speed to keep him or at least limit him. So it's going to be, I'm really excited, like genuinely excited to see how Flores wants to scheme up against us. Like, this is one that I want to watch, even though I think it's at the same time as the Bears game. Like, I will be flipping back and forth. I don't usually during a Bears game, but this one I probably will.
Okay, so I went to ChatGPT real quick for this Baltimore question.
Boy.
I asked,
how well do we know football there?
ChatGPT, when is the last time Lamar Jackson played against a Brian Flores defense? Last time Lamar Jackson played against a defense coached by Brian Flores, it says in parentheses, while Flores was head coach of the Miami Dolphins, was November 2021, when the Baltimore Ravens faced Miami and lost 22-10. I followed up with, how about when Brian Flores on the Minnesota Vikings as defensive coordinator? Lamar Jackson has not played against the Vikings with Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator, which gives some credence to what I was thinking, which is I could see Lamar Jackson being the kind of quarterback that Brian Flores could give fits. It certainly seems like it the last time they played Miami. So I think this could be another one of those interesting games where all the experts are picking Baltimore and the Vikings could sneak. I think the defense is going to have to lead the charge. One of those, I think if the offense can put up 24 points, I think the defense, better way to say that, if the defense can keep Lamar Jackson at 21 points or less, I think the Vikings can get out of there with a win. You're deep in thought right now. What are you thinking?
I'm deep in thought right now. And even deeper I am in research. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. Going into that game, Dolphins were at home 3-7. Baltimore was coming in 6-3. Lamar had a QBR of 48.9, a rating of 73.6. Tua played half of the game. Jacoby Brissett came and finished the game. Myles Gaskin was the leading rusher. Devontae Freeman was on the Ravens. Albert Wilson was the Dolphins' leading receiver.
Jeez.
Rashad Bateman was the Baltimore leading receiver. Okay. So it was looking at the box score, it was 3-rip in the first half, Baltimore. That was 6-3 going into halftime, Miami. Third quarter end, still 6-3, Miami. Then it was fourth quarter, 16 points and 7 points, ending with a 22-10. So that was just a garbage BS game. But I'm looking at the defensive stats here. Yeah, it ended up with Lamar getting sacked 4 times, pass deflected 7 times, hit 7 times. There was a defensive touchdown by Xavier Howard. I'm assuming a pick 6. And the other side, just about as bad. 4 sacks, a bunch of PF. Yeah. So it was a defensive matchup. But Le'Veon Bell was on that Ravens roster, dude. Holy cow. So I'm just saying that's how much 4 years brings. Well, Sammy Watkins.
Okay. All right, I'm officially pulling you out of this rabbit hole, Jason, because we got to put a bow on this episode here.
All that to say, it was a completely different team. Same
Lamar
coach,
Jackson
same
was still there.
big difference, but
fantasy wise, what's going on? Anything noteworthy on your end?
I had to text my parents after church today, telling them to play for my marriage, because in the league I don't care about, I'm playing against my wife. And every minute that goes by, I'm creeping away more and more with the potential of a win. The issue with that is not that I'm winning. The issue is that she is 8-0 this year, and I might be the first loss. I am 3-5. Granted, I drafted both teams, but she's got Josh Allen, Travion Henderson, Javonte Williams, Justin Jefferson, Ladd McConkey, Travis Kelce, Odunze, Aaron Jones, Coleman, Drake May. I think that's really been the thing. She had
I gotta be honest, that does not sound like an 8-0 team.
I mean, it might be the luck of the matchups too. I don't know what her points for.
Sure.
And then Rashad White has been on a tear while Bucky Irvin's been out.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, to be honest, with this team, I drafted all the guys I wanted to watch this year if I had to. So I've got Caleb, Gibbs, James Cook has been my winner in the other one. Harrison, Pickens, Bowers. Monangai pickup was huge. DJ Moore, Murray. After that, Harold Fannin Jr., that's a fun one. And then I took a flyer on Mixon. I told her to take a flyer on Ayuk. I don't think any of those guys are playing this year. So that's the I don't give a shit Friends Family League. Or not family, but like, who cares?
Yeah.
The Dynasty League is going to be interesting. So the 6-2 teams, myself and my buddy Keegan, we're playing each other. I have a 15-point favored matchup. Right now, I got 83 points, 121 projected. He's got 89 points, 106 projected. Monangai was sick, 24.8. Mark Andrews on 2 catches, but also 2 touchdowns. That's probably the difference in this matchup. Nico Collins had a solid 14-point game. Daniel Jones, I chose Daniel Jones over Bo Nix, which was a 4-point swing there. Bo Nix had 4 more, but Daniel Jones had the better matchup. Just one of those games where he fumbled twice. Not ideal. And threw 3 picks. So not ideal. If you don't have those, he's back over 20, no problem. But I'm playing against Josh Allen. Josh Jacobs had 20. Rashee Rice had a hot start to the game, but I think is mellowed out a little bit at 14. I'm feeling confident in the sense that Tucker Kraft only had 4. After today's games, I'm going to be projected more, but have less points on the board. But I have Javonte Williams and Pickens playing Monday night against Arizona. So feeling real good about that. And I also had Judkins and Devontae Smith on bye. So if it all came down to that, if DeAndre Swift misses more games, loving that feeling. And then I picked up this week Jacoby Myers on the trade block. Him and Pollard are both threats to get traded that are rostered right now. Jacoby Myers is playing more on the hope. I think it was $11 I got him for, which is 3 more than the next budgeted, next auction, whatever bid. Flyer, nice to have as your last flex because we have 2 flex spots. If he goes to a different situation, I mean, receiver is a pretty easy one to learn. Of all the positions, like if you get traded as a pass rusher, that's easy. Receiver is easy. Offensive line, defensive line, any other nuanced position, pretty hard. So I took a flyer on it. We'll see. Otherwise, the guys, once I get through my buys, I'm feeling pretty confident about the health of my team. So very good chance I could be the record highest team in the league. But if it came down to it, if I don't beat my opponent right now by 20, he'll have the points advantage if we end up tying at the end of the year.
So big matchup then.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. How about you? What you up to?
Nothing too much. Guillotine League, I have not broken a bead of sweat yet. I did spend 40% of my last 46% of budget on Christian McCaffrey and Amon-Ra St. Brown this week. Seemed like a worthwhile investment. So now I have Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Roma Dunze. Yeah, I don't know. I've not even been close to getting chopped since week 2. So I'm doing fine there. Family League, blah, whatever, don't care. Main League, looking like it's likely I'm about to go on a 2-game skid, which will drop me to 5-4. ESPN's telling me I have a 12% chance. I basically, what I need to happen to win is I need Jackson Smith and Najigba to not have a great game, and for Dak Prescott to score a lot of points, but not throw to Jake Ferguson, because I'm going up against JSN and Jake Ferguson. I have Dak Prescott.
That's not reasonable. Like, it can happen. You got 2 receivers and a running back you can throw to.
Right. So I got Dak Prescott plus 3 points. Okay. Dak Prescott plus 3 points against JSN and Jake Ferguson. I think that's better than a 12% chance to win. I'd put that at 25, because they're also estimating JSN's going to have 25 effing points, which I'm like, he could very well underachieve that.
But you know what? He's also been good for a 60-yard touchdown, which is 6 plus 7 plus 1, or 6 plus 6 plus 1. So that's a 13-point play at any time with Darnold slinging it against single high. I'm not saying it's the smart choice. I'm just saying it's been happening more than most fantasy owners have been predicting. So maybe I wouldn't bet the mortgage on it, but it's been happening.
Yeah, I also would not bet the mortgage on it, but I'm like, Dak's had a few of those games, so if he just balls out, throws 4 touchdown passes to CD and George Pickens, then it'll all turn out okay.
I'll take Pickens, I'll take Javonte. Let's go.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I don't think I gave you my 3 words. My 3 words would just be, how about that? Because that's how I felt after the game. How about that? JJ McCarthy, proving the haters wrong.
And I'll leave you with this one as we sign off. Mr. President Trump, please fix the officiating.
Please.
Not just for me, but you look at the economics of it. I'm not talking market specific. If you fix this, take the shitty refs, relegate them back to college, let them learn the game again. But how much more money, not only in fandom and people that are engaged with the game, not being pissed, they'll be more likely to engage. It's also going to help the betting markets. If games are not affected by refs, you're going to have more fans trusting in their teams, willing to spend dumb money.
I agree.
Smart money, gaming, all this stuff. Smart money, better economics. Better economics, better numbers in the polls. I know you can't run for a third one yet, but all that jazz, fix the refs so that the world is better at peace. Amen to that. I'm signing off. I got nothing better to say than that.
All right. Run the North, Will and Jason, week 10. Fix the refs.